Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope you're having a good day. Um, you may well have already heard that Sky Sports have decided not to renew their exclusive deal with Boxxer, which expires at the end of June. Now, I say exclusive deal. This is the key word here is exclusive, because what it means is that they may still have Boxxer promotions broadcast, but they'll do it on a fight by fight basis, and it will leave them open to using other promoters. So other promotional outfits will get a look in. Sky have done this before. You know, if you go back to the days of, I think at one point they had, Ricky Hatton had some shows on there. Frank Warren did. I mean, I'm going back 15 years or so, whatever it is. And then when Warren jumped ship and went on to create Box Nation, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom were then given an exclusive deal. And then when they decided to leave for DAZN, in came Boxxer with the exclusive British rights. There was an exclusive deal with Boxxer. Sky have continued to. I think they had a deal with Bob Arum's Top Rank, so they were showing a lot of Top Rank shows as well. Some very good ones actually. But it was a 4-year deal with Boxxer. It's about to expire in June, we're in June already, aren't we? So I don't know what part. Probably the end of June, maybe. I don't know. So the question then is, well, okay, Sky are going to they're going to sort of pick and choose who they work with from now on in. It's a fight by fight or a promotional card by promotional card deal. But where are Boxxer going to go? And the obvious one that pops into the head is DAZN, because they're mopping up all the gravy, aren't they? They're signing up everyone, DAZN. Come over here. Queensbury, of course, recently did it. Jumped from TNT, former BT Sports, to DAZN. They also have like GBM, fantastic smaller shows, but growing exponentially, I'd say. That's Izzy as If's promotional outfit. They've had stuff on DAZN, and lest we forget, of course, Golden Boy as well. They're on DAZN. So possibly adding Boxxer to the roster. It's a possibility. I don't exactly know whether Boxxer would be able to compete with Queensbury or Matchroom. I doubt it. Or I mean, they would be, in a sense. They've gone from being the a big lion in a small jungle to being a pussycat, if they were to go to DAZN, a pussycat in a much, much bigger jungle. But that's one possibility. The other possibility is that they go for, TNT, which would be Queensbury's old stomping ground, and they try to get an exclusive deal with TNT. Would TNT go for that? Do they want to stay in boxing? Because at one point people were saying Sky might pull out of boxing, which I thought would be a real shame. But TNT and Boxxer, I suppose it's possible if they decide to stay in Boxxer, but I can't see it being like a long-term exclusive deal. This is the thing. I think those arrangements might be coming to an end. I think the success of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom at Sky made the appeal of exclusive long-term deals. It's almost like they were suddenly in vogue. And with Boxxer, it's been very sort of stop-start. It hasn't been the great success that the Sky relationship was with Matchroom. They've had their moments, Boxxer. I mean, let's not forget Kell Brook versus Amir Khan. That was a Boxxer card. Recently, Chris Eubank Jr., who's promoted by Boxxer, he defeated Conor Benn in that, blockbuster at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They did some very good female shows. I mean, Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields. That was a great event, terrific fight. They did, where they fell down was they haven't made the strides they wanted to with Ben Whittaker. The first fight between Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley was fantastic. But the rematch, we know what happened there. Fraser is a boxer, fighter. They've had their moments, but they've been kind of few and far between. And to be honest with you, some of the smaller events have been very poor. So I think Sky were probably thinking, look, we're not going to do this again. We're not committing to 4-year or even 3-year relationships. We'll stick to, what have you done for me lately? That type of mentality. And frankly, I think that's probably what most of the broadcasters are going to do. I mean, obviously, I don't know the details that, between the Queensbury Matchroom or Golden Boy deals with DAZN, but I imagine they have to provide a certain amount of shows over a certain period. There's none of this, well, we'll have 2 months off here. Boxing's buzzing. I mean, it's relentless. The weekend just gone by, I literally couldn't keep up with watching all the boxing. It was like I was getting, it was like gluttony. There were shows all over the place. Some of them. I mean, you look at the Fabio Wardley Justice Hooney fight. Okay, you look at that card. That was on DAZN. On Sky, there was one of the fights of the year. Callum Simpson and Zucco, the Italian fighter. No one even remembered it was on that card, and it was a good card. It wasn't bad at all. And the main event was fantastic. So it's a case of you can have too much of a good thing all at once. Do you know what I mean? You've got to spread out a bit. You've got to be sensible about this, and don't let things get lost in the mix. I mean, I always remember that incredible fight between Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi, which was on one of those absolutely stacked Riyadh cards. It was the first fight on. They came on about 5:30 in the afternoon or early evening. It was a brilliant fight. It got completely lost in the mix. And that fight, there should be a rematch between those two, and it should, sell out the O2 or something. Brilliant fight. So you can have a bit too much of everything. It pays to sort of, it's like when you do your grocery shopping. You don't then go home, put it out on the table and start getting tucking into it and stuffing your face and eating all the good stuff in one hit. Well, sometimes I do that, but you want to put it in the cupboard. You want to ration it a bit. It's your week shopping, spread it out over the week. It's all nice stuff, but I do get the feeling there is this. We're so spoiled. I mean, younger boxing fans, they don't realise how spoiled they are. You really don't. I'm sorry to sound like an old bastard, but I'm going to sound like an old bastard because I am an old bastard. When I was a teenager, we had BBC One, BBC Two, ITV. There'd be this was the back end of the cartel days when I started watching boxing. Then Frank Warren came along, and you were lucky if you had Brentwood Leisure Centre fight on a 10:30 on a Tuesday, ITV or something like that, or maybe you'd have highlights of some great fights on Grandstand or World of Sport or whatever on a Saturday afternoon. Now you can't get out of the way of boxing. You can't. It's like you're constantly ducking and impossible to keep track of all the fights that are going on and are shown on various platforms. So I hope Boxxer do get a deal, and I hope they make progress and they move on, because it was an audacious signing, a 4-year deal with Sky for an unknown commodity. I mean, that's a gamble if ever there was one. And I think, inevitably, what was Shalom when he got the deal? 28 or something like that, vastly inexperienced. And I think he's got plenty to offer as a promoter. I think he's made some very public mistakes. Certainly the putting people out of purse bids and all that sort of thing wasn't a good look. But I don't think he's a bad promoter. I think, you've got to learn as you go along, and I think you will. So I hope he gets, a gig somewhere else, either DAZN, TNT, whatever. I don't really mind. But I don't want to see Boxxer leave boxing. Anyway, what do you think? As always, leave your comments below. I want to read them. And if you'd like this video, please hit the like button, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, because you're a good person, aren't you? You know you're a good person. Go on, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons you can see. Just hit them all, apart from the down one. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading what you've got to say. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and bye for now.